Hi, my name is Richard. I never thought in a million years I would ever say this, but I regret having kids. Oh God, it hurts to even say it out loud, but it's true. I wish I never had my adorable, funny, and smart children. If I could turn back the clock to before they were born and stop myself from having them, I would. Most of you probably think I'm an awful person, and maybe I am, but it would be better that way. I know it would. I got sick, really sick. I had to go for all sorts of testing. And then one day, my doctor used that C word that everyone is so afraid of these days. I didn't think it could get much worse than that, but I was so very, very wrong. After some more tests were done and some experts came to poke at me, it turned out I had this horrible and rare genetic disorder. Have you ever heard of Lee-Fraumeni syndrome? No? I don't blame you. I'd never heard of it until a few years ago. When I was diagnosed with it, my son Thomas was 13 and my daughter Jenny was 9. I didn't know how to tell them. They were so young and innocent. How do you explain to the people you love most in your life that you have cancer? And not only did I have cancer, but because of this stupid genetic disorder, they were going to get it too. And there was absolutely nothing I could do to stop it. Not one single thing. I'd never felt so hopeless in all my life. Oh, God, it was hard. They cried. I cried. I don't think Jenny really understood what it all meant, but she knew it was a bad thing, and she knew her brother and her daddy were crying, and that was enough. Despite all the odds, however, my cancer passed. I went into remission a year after I got the horrible news, and I was so happy. I'd been given extra time to spend with my family, to watch my children grow up and be happy. Everything was fine. At least it was at the very start. After a while, the fact that I could have passed on a gene that could cause my kids to get cancer kept gnawing at me. The thought wouldn't leave my mind that one day my kids would suffer through cancer like I had, that they could die like I could have. Now, everything was different. When Thomas was sick and throwing up one day from a stomach bug, I panicked. I totally freaked out. The only thought that ran through my head was, shit, he has cancer. I couldn't do anything to stop myself from thinking that. I didn't even consider any other option. I ran him down to the hospital and demanded they run blood tests for cancer, and there was nothing wrong. He was fine, except for catching a common sickness virus. It was a relief, but at the same time, I'd never felt so ashamed. All I'd done was put him under more stress and pain for the sake of my own worries and fears. I did the same with Jenny just a few months later. She must have fallen over at school or something, but I didn't know at the time. All I saw was a lump on her arm, and before I could even think about it, I was taking her to the doctor for an examination. I hadn't even realized there was bruising around it. The doctor looked at me like I was crazy when I told him I thought it might be cancer. He told me it was just swelling from a fall, and I broke down in tears. Jenny was crying too. She'd seen how upset I was, and she thought she was going to die. I couldn't believe it. My kids were my whole world, and all I was doing was making their lives miserable. That's why I wish I'd never had them. I don't want them to live in this world if all that's waiting for them is misery and suffering. I wish I could take away all the pain that they're going to experience. I wish I could do something to make it right. But I'm out of time. I've been diagnosed with cancer again, 3 years after the first time. It's come back, and I can't fight it this time. I'm not strong enough anymore. Now, my kids are going to face their hard and miserable lives alone with no father because of this stupid, awful genetic problem. I hope they have strength to guide them through it, but all I see now is fear and pain in their future. I'm sorry, Thomas and Jenny. I'm so sorry.
But he was wrong. Hi, my name is Thomas, and I'm Richard's son. When my father died, I found out that he left a letter about his experience of dealing with cancer, accompanied with an apology for something he didn't do. When I found it, I was heartbroken to discover how my father felt, and I had so many things to say to him that I couldn't. I decided to share his words because I want him to know that he shouldn't apologize. I knew he felt like he'd failed us, and he'd only caused us pain by allowing us to be born, but he was wrong. He was so afraid of what might happen in the future that he didn't stop to think about what was happening right in front of him. I don't regret being born just because I have this problem that means I might get cancer one day. I don't wish my father could turn back time and erase both me and my sister. That's crazy. No, I'm happy. I'm happy we were born. I'm happy that we got to spend many awesome and fun years with our father. I'm happy that he chose to give us life so that we got to experience all of the good things in it. Like the warmth of a summer's day, like the day I shared my first kiss, and the time my father taught me how to ride a bike. All of those experiences would disappear if my father got his wish. You see, I know that my sister and I are more likely to have bad things in our life because of the syndrome, but if we'd never been born, then we wouldn't have had the good things either. I'm grateful to my dad for giving me the chance to live in this world with such wonderful possibilities. Of course, I wish I never had this genetic condition, but we all have our baggage. I won't let it stop me from living my life to the fullest, and neither should you.